No, they ought to make the day the time changes the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
You can't make a trip like this.
I don't know that she can't. Is there any candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave. And 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants us to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country, and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Testing. Back on. Oh, ladies and... We're coming back on the air after an interruption due to a technical problem.
I click the radio off. There's nothing wrong with the radio. It must have been the station. I get out of the car and walk around the front of it, trotting to catch up with my sibling.
Which row is it in?
There's no one around.
Well, it's late. If you'd gotten up earlier...
Look, I already lost an hour's sleep in the time change.
Yeah, I think you complain just to hear yourself talk.
Ah!
Oh, here it is.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We get out here and the one from last year is gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or someone takes them away.
Yeah, a little spit and polish, you can clean this up, sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one.
I kneel at the grave.
I look around the cemetery. The stones are soft and white. They seem very pale. Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning. Hey, I mean, praying's for church. Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small? We were out here. It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree and Grandpa got all excited and he shook his fist at me and he said, "Honey, you'll be damned to hell!" You remember that? Right over there. You used to really be scared here.
Johnny.
You're still afraid.
Stop it. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara. They're coming out of their graves after you. They're coming to get you.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, look. There goes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes. I'm getting out of here.
John! I am near the place where the two paths meet, and so is the old man. I am aware of his proximity. Ow! Johnny! Johnny, help! The old man freezes and looks up. I stop in my tracks. The man is breathing heavily. I start to back away. The man holds very still. I back away further, faster. The man moves slowly, cat-like. He steps over Johnny's body. I break into a dead run down the path. I scream. The man moves after me, but he is considerably slower with seeming difficulty in moving. He appears almost crippled. In a flailing run, I reach the car, sobbing, and yank open the door. The man moves after me. I scramble into the front seat and slam the door shut. No key. The man is moving faster, seeming more desperate to reach me. I clench the steering wheel. The driver's window is open. I struggle to roll it up, and I push down the lock button. The man is upon the car. I dive across the seat, and I slam down the passenger lock button. The man rips at the door handles and pounds violently at the car. I start screaming again. The man, pounding, clawing. He picks up a stone from the road. The passenger window shatters into thousands of little cracks. Another pound sends the stone through the window, and his hands enter in to peel away the flakes of glass in sections. My screams become more violent. I summon enough presence of mind to reach for the emergency brake. The man pounds and flails at the window. The car, the top of a long grate, slowly starts to drift. The man struggles to hold, to rip out the glass. His arm breaks through. His sleeve is ripped and tattered. His hand grabs at the inside of the window. The car gains momentum. The man struggles to cling. He is forced to trot after the car. Faster. He loses his footing. He grabs at the fender, the bumper. The man falls into the road, and the car gains momentum. The man regains his footing and starts after the car. It's moving faster. I am paralyzed in the driver's seat, clenching the steering wheel. The grade ends. The car slows. I glance in the rearview mirror. The man is still moving after me. The car comes to a complete stop. I struggle with the door handle and the button pops up. The man draws nearer. I break away from the car. I run off of the road and on to the turf of the cemetery. I fall. I kick off my shoes and I keep on running. I reach a low stone wall which marks the end of the cemetery. I struggle over it. I get up, looking around to get my bearings. Some 50 yards away is this old house. I run toward it. I press against the house in the shadows of a corner, trying to look into a window. I see my pursuer struggle over the wall and in his clumsiness fall, groveling to the ground. I run to the rear of the house and into the shadows of a small back porch. Silence. Night sounds. And the sounds of the man's running footsteps slowing to a trot, then a walk. The footsteps stop. I quickly glance about. There is a rear window. I peer inside, but everything is dark. Oh, the pursuing footsteps take up again. I press my back against the door of the house. My hand falls on a doorknob. I glance at it and turn it. The door opens. I go inside as quickly and quietly as possible and shut the door softly behind me, feeling in the darkness for a key. My hand lands on a skeleton key and I turn it, making a small rasp and click. I lean against the door, listening. And I can still hear the distant footfalls.
Are you one of them?
No, please, no!
One of them! It's okay. Don't worry about him. I can take care of him. There will probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas and the pump out back is locked. Do you live here? Is there a key?
In the corner of the room is a telephone. I rush to it and I pick up the receiver. Dial tone, some buzzes and clicks, and then...
I'm sorry, our lines are busy. Would you hold the line, please? I'm sorry, our lines are busy. Would you hold the line, please?
We can get out of here if we can just get some gas. Is there a key? We have to get out of here. We have got to get to where there are some other people. We better take some food. I'll see if we can find some food.
Footsteps. I put the phone receiver down and I rush to the window. There's a figure crossing the lawn coming toward the house. That's a different figure. That's a different man. What's happening?
2 of them. There are 2 of them. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those too.
I don't know.
Look, I know you're afraid,
But I don't know. What's happening?
I'll be just a second. I go outside. I step off the porch. I concentrate on my attack, moving solidly toward the 2 creatures. I almost break into a run, but the 2, instead of backing off, they move toward me, drawn by some sort of urge. I pound into them, beating and thrashing with my arms and jackhandle. They're buffeted by my blows. They seem weak compared to me, but my blows don't really stop them. It's like beating a rug. I fling them back and they advance again, but finally I beat them into the ground, and for a great while I continue to pound their limp forms. I almost break into sobbing with each of my blows. I beat them and I beat them as I'm watched from the porch. I stop. Breathing heavily, I stand, enveloped in the quiet of the night. Get back! My eyes fall to the floor where the dead humanoid lies. The thing is askew on its back, its right arm extended with fingers twisted as though to grab. There's a slight movement in the thing's hand. It twitches. Its whole body twitches slightly. The being's broken neck has its head twisted upward in an open-mouthed, glassy stare. Outside the house, a 4th ghoul stands, staring at me. Another slowly walks up behind it, and another. They advance silently. I produce a pack of matches. I manage to strike one. The figures are close upon me, beginning to reach out. I touch the burning tip of the match to the clothing of the dead thing, and with almost a popping sound, it catches fire. The figures in the yard stop in their tracks. The flames blaze slowly. Standing, I kick the burning thing off the porch. Watch it roll down 3 small steps, where it lies still. The flames licking around it. They know we're here now. Let's get some lights on in this house. Why don't you see if you can find some wood, some boards, something there by the fireplace, something we can nail this place up with. Damn it. Look, I know you're afraid. I'm afraid too. But we have to work together to board this house up. Now, I'm gonna go board the windows and the doors. Do you understand? We'll be all right here. We will be all right till someone comes to rescue us, but we have to work together. You have to help me. So I want you to go in there and see if you can find some wood so we can board this place up. Do you understand? Okay? Okay?
She starts putting up boards and tables against the vulnerable parts of the old house. I relax, becoming calmer, more analytical. The barricading instills a sense of greater security.
There. This room is pretty secure. If we have to, we can run in here and board up the doors. Won't be long before those things will be back, pounding their way in here. They're afraid now. They're afraid of fire. I found that out. You know that place down the road? Beekman's? Beekman's Diner? Anyhow, that's where I found the truck I have out there. There's a radio in it, and I jumped in to listen to it when this giant gasoline truck came screaming across the road. There must have been 10, 15 of those things chasing after it, grabbing, holding on. I didn't see them at first. I could just see that the truck was moving in a funny way. But those things were catching up to it. The truck went right across the road. It went right through the guardrail. I guess the driver must have cut off the road into the gas station at Beekman's Diner. It went right through a billboard. Went right over the gas pump. Never stopped moving. Right now it's like a moving bonfire. I didn't know if it was gonna explode or what. I could still hear the man screaming. But one of these things was backing away from it. I looked back at the diner to see if there was anyone there who could help me. And that was when I noticed that the entire place was encircled. Wasn't a sign of life left, except by now there were no more screams. And that was when I realized that I was alone. With 50 or 60 of those things just standing there, staring at me. And I just drove. I plowed right through them. They didn't move. They didn't run. They just stood there, staring at me. I just wanted to crush them. And they scattered through the air like bugs.
We were riding in the cemetery, Johnny and me. Johnny and we came to put a wreath on my father's grave. Johnny and she said, "Can I have some candy, Barbara?" And we didn't have any. It's hot in here. It's hot. And Johnny said, "It's late. Why did we start so late?" And I said, "Well, Johnny, if you'd have gotten up earlier, it wouldn't be so late." And Johnny asked if I was afraid. And I said, no, I'm not afraid, Johnny. And then this man came walking up the road. He came slowly. And Johnny kept teasing me, saying, "Oh, he's coming to get you, Barbara." And I laughed at her and I said, "Johnny, stop it." And then she ran away. And I went up to this man. I was going to apologize.
Why don't you just come?
I said, "Good evening." And he grabbed me. He ripped at me. He held me down and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just keep...
And I screamed, "Johnny, Johnny, help me, oh, help me." And Johnny came and she ran and Johnny fought this man. And I got so afraid that I ran. And Johnny didn't come. Maybe we have to wait for Johnny. No, we should go out and get her. Johnny is out there. She's waiting for me. Don't you understand? Can't you help?
Don't you know what's going on out there?
Don't you understand? My sister is alone.
Your sister is dead.
No! My sister is not dead!
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. At this hour, we repeat, These are the facts as we know them. There's an epidemic of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages, cities, rural homes, and suburbs with no apparent pattern or reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden general explosion of mass homicide. We have some descriptions of the assassins. Eyewitnesses say they are ordinary-looking people. Some say they appear to be in a kind of trance. Others describe them as being... So, at this point, there is no really authentic way for us to say who or what to look for and guard yourself against. The only advice our reporters have been able to get from official sources is for private citizens to stay in their homes behind locked doors. Do not venture outside for any reason until the nature of this crisis has been determined and until we can advise what course of action to take. Keep listening to radio and TV for any special instructions as this crisis develops further. Thousands of office and factory workers are being urged to stay in their places of employment, not to make any attempt to get to their homes. However, in spite of this urging and warning, streets and highways are packed with frantic people trying to reach their families or apparently to flee just anywhere. Repeat, the safest course of action at this time is simply to stay where you... Ladies and gentlemen, we've just received word that the president has called a meeting of his cabinet to deal with the sudden epidemic of murder which has seized the eastern third of this nation. The meeting is scheduled to convene within the hour. A White House spokesman, in announcing this conference, says there will be an official announcement as soon as possible following that meeting. National press services in Washington, D.C. now tell us that the emergency presidential conference will include high-ranking scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and TV and to stay indoors at all costs. Late reports reaching this newsroom tell of frightened people seeking refuge in churches, schools, and government buildings demanding shelter and protection from the wholesale murder, which apparently is engulfing much of the nation. Law enforcement officials are at a loss to explain, or even at this hour, even to theorize about the reasons for this wave of murder. So far, the only descriptions, the only clues anyone has of the killers come from frightened witnesses. These eyewitness accounts variously describe the murderers as ordinary-looking people, misshapen monsters, people who look like they're in a trance, and things that look like people but act like animals. Some eyewitnesses tell of seeing victims who look as though they had been torn apart. This whole ghastly story began developing 2 days ago with a report of the slaying of a family of 7 in their home. Since then, reports of some senseless killings began snowballing in a reign of terror, which has hopscotched and then vanished in a disconnected manner.
I found a gun and some bullets.
It was only late yesterday when it first became clear we were facing some kind of national emergency. When first reports began filtering in, newsmen and law enforcement agencies were of the opinion...
This place is boarded up pretty solid now. We ought to be all right here for a while. We have a gun and bullets, food, and a radio. Sooner or later, someone's bound to get us out of here.
So again, we join with law enforcement agencies in urging you to seek shelter in a building, lock the doors and windows securely.
Hey, that's us. We're doing all right.
Be cautious of any suspicious strangers and keep tuned to your radio and television for survival instructions and further details of this continuing story.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm gonna go upstairs now. If anything should try to get in, I can hear it from up there and I can take care of it. We will be all right for now. I'll be back down to reinforce the windows and doors later. But you'll be all right for now, okay? Okay?
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Consistent reports from witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you. Reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening. And it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder. A report from Butler County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that rumors of victims being eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time.
How long? How long have you guys been down there? I could have used some help up here.
That's the cellar. Shh.
You mean you didn't hear all the racket we were making?
How are we supposed to know what was going on? It could have been those things for all we knew.
They were screaming. Surely you must know what screaming sounds like. Plus, those things don't even make any noise. Anybody would have known somebody needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on.
We thought we could hear screams. But for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house after them.
And you wouldn't come up and help?
Well, maybe if there were more of us.
It sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How are we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got done saying you couldn't hear it from down there. Now you're saying it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It'd be nice if you get your story straight.
All right. Now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we've got a safe place. We luck into a safe place. And you're telling us that we have to risk our lives just because somebody might need help?
Yeah. Something like that.
All right, why don't we celebrate?
Look, we came up, okay? We're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out that we are in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs, and they won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar is the safest place.
I'm telling you they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all, and now you tell me that those things can't get through a lousy pile of wood?
Your wife and kids are downstairs. Kids hurt.
Well, I still think we'd be better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Cooper.
With all of us working together, we could fix this place up in no time. And we have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Girl, I mean, you're really crazy, you know that? You've got 1 million windows up here. All of these windows, and you're gonna make them strong enough to keep those things out, huh?
I told you, those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me? What I told you? Those things turned over our car.
Any good 5 men could do that.
That's my point. Only it's not going to be 5 or even 10. It is going to be 20, 30, 100 of those things. And as soon as they find out that we are in here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
If there really are that many, they are probably going to get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. Okay, the cellar. There's only one door, right? Just one door. That is all that we have to protect. Tom and I, we fixed it so it locks and it boards from the inside. But up here, all of these windows, you would never know where they were going to come and hit us next.
You got a point, Cooper. But down the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there's no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there, with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Cooper. I think she's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. I figure maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going to go back down in the cellar, and you better decide, because I'm going to board up that door again, and I won't unlock it again, no matter what happens.
Wait a minute, Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I have made my decision, and now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to, and if we do decide to stay down there, we need things from up here, so let's at least consider this a while.
If you box yourself in the cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Looks like there's 8, 10 of them now.
That's more than there were before. There's a lot out back too. Go to the kitchen. Hands are reaching through the broken glass behind the barricaded door. Reaching, scratching, trying to grab. Through aspects of the glass, I smash with my rifle butt against the ugly extremities. Pounding once, twice.
One of the grabbing hands is driven back by the shattering of already broken glass it was reaching through. The rifle butt smashes the hand against the door, molding it solidly. But the hand, on feeling the pain, continues to crawl after a hold.
She slides her finger to the trigger and turns the rifle, smashing the barrel through another of the little broken glass areas, and two of the gray hands seize the protruding metal.
The woman struggling desperately to control the weapon with the thing outside, trying to grip it away by the barrel.
Blast rips through the thing's chest, leaving a gaping hole in its back. But it remains on its feet, backing slowly away.
She levels off again. God! This time, the shell rips through the thing's thigh just below the pelvis. The thing is still backing away, but as it tries to put weight on its right leg, it falls into a heap. The thing is still moving away, but as it tries to put weight, it's dragging itself with its arms and it's pushing itself with its remaining legs.
She takes a deep breath and holds it, sighting down the barrel of the rifle again.
The shell seems to hit under the thing's skull. It falls backwards.
Outside, the thing has fallen limply.
We've got to fix these boards.
You're insane! Those things are gonna be at every window and door in this place. We have got to get down to the cellar now!
Go down to your damn basement then and get out of here.
I'm taking them with me.
You leave them here. You keep your hands off them and everything else that's up here, because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the food and the radio is what I'm fighting for. So if you're going down to your basement, get.
The woman is insane. She's insane. I mean, we've got to have food down there. We've got a right.
Is this your house?
We've got a right.
Are you going down there with her?
Well, I got...
Yes or no? No beating around the bush. This is your last chance.
Listen. I've got a kid down there. She can't... I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket from those things trying to smash through the windows.
Look, you're her mother. And if you are stupid enough to go die in that death trap, that is your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. So you get the hell down in your cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm the boss up here.
I won't unlock this door again, and I mean it!
Cooper, with your help...
Oh, with my help?
Just let her go. Man, she's made up her mind. Just let her go.
Judy! Come on up here, honey.
You're gonna let them get to her too, huh?
It's all right, honey. Go ahead. With your help, we can fix it up. There's a lot of places to run to up here, Cooper. We'd all be a whole lot better off if all three of us were working together.
Hey, kid. She's wrong. You know, I am not boxing myself in down there.
Well, we're safe now. It is boarded up tight.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there. Let them! There are 2 other people upstairs.
We heard the screaming.
Yeah, and I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
Is she all right?
I don't know what it is. She feels warm. Maybe it's shock.
Where did you get that bandage?
Some laundry in the basket. I tore a sheet.
Let them stay upstairs. Let them! Too many ways those monsters can get in up there! We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
To be right. Everybody else to be wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Does anyone up there know why we're being attacked?
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's some kind of mass murder. It's going on everywhere. And the radio said to stay inside! The radio. Upstairs. I heard the news bulletin.
There is a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing! Nothing! They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder going on everywhere, and the radio said that people need to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some kind of communication. The authorities know what's happening. Well, they will send people for us, or they'll tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon?
Okay, yeah. I hate you, right? I hate the kid. I want to see you die down here, right? In this stinking place? My God, Helen, do you realize what's going on? There are a million of those things out there. They are going to kill us all. I like watching my kids suffer like this. I like watching all of this happen.
She needs help. She needs a doctor. She's going to maybe die here. We've got to get out of here, Harry. We have to.
Oh, yeah. No, let's just walk out. We're gonna pack up a bag and get ready to go.
We may not enjoy living together, but dying together is not going to solve anything. There are people upstairs. We should stick together, you said. Are we fighting with them? Upstairs, downstairs, and what's the difference? Maybe they can help us. Let's get out of here. Let's go upstairs. Let's do something. Let's get out of here.
We found a television set upstairs.
Let's go up. Tom?
Yes?
If Judy would come downstairs for a few minutes, Harry and I could come upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, right away. Can you do it?
Have to?
Look, honey, nothing's gonna get done with them down there and us up here. Do this for me?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take good care of her, Helen.
Is all I have.
Why don't you go upstairs now?
Oh, don't be afraid of me. I'm Helen Cooper, Harry's wife.
This place is ridiculous. Look at this. There's a million weak spots up here. And they talk about these windows. There could be 15 million of those things out there. That's how much good these windows are.
Why don't you do something to help somebody?
I have it. Jack a couple of those chairs together.
Is there anything I can do to help?
There's a socket. Over here.
Now you better watch this and try to understand what's going on. I don't want anybody's life on my hands.
Look, you leave them alone. If you stay up here, you take orders from me, and that includes leaving them alone.
It's on. It's on.
There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria. In all parts of the country, the wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims. First eyewitness accounts of this grisly development came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent. Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted. Medical examinations of some of these victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured. I think we have some late word just arriving, and we interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from the National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact. When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors, for safety. Well, that situation has now changed. We're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue stations with food, shelter, medical treatment, and protection by armed National Guardsmen. Stay tuned to the broadcasting stations in your local area for this list of rescue stations. This list will be repeated throughout our news coverage. Look for the name of the rescue stations nearest to you and make your way to that location as soon as possible. An emergency meeting was called this afternoon by the President. Since convening, the Conference of the Presidential Cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the CIA has not produced any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an Earthbound emergency? So far, all that betting on the answer to that question centers on the recent Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you recall, started back to Earth but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and was purposely destroyed by NASA, when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it. Could that radiation be somehow responsible for the wholesale murders we're now suffering? Our reporter, Don Quinn, is in Washington. Over to you, Don.
You're coming from a meeting regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right?
Yes, that's the subject of the meeting.
Do you feel there's a connection between this and the phenomenon?
There's a definite connection. A definite connection.
In other words, you feel that the radiation of the Venus probe is enough to cause these mutations?
It was a very high degree of radiation.
Well, just a minute. I'm not sure that's certain. I don't think that's been fully proved.
It is the only logical explanation that we have at this time.
In other words, it is the military's viewpoint that the radiation, is not the cause of the mutation.
I can't speak for the entire military at this time, but I must disagree with those present until this is fully proved.
Everything is being done that can be done.
We'll have to hurry to our next meeting.
Professor, you feel that there's a definite connection between the radiation...
A definite connection as far as Dr. Keller and myself.
Doctor, yes. Please. I thought we decided this is not proved yet.
What about rumors of the Verona project? Is that going ahead?
We are looking at a way to preserve humanity.
We are not talking about the Verona project at this time.
Will there be a report later for any updates regarding the situation?
Later, yes.
There will be a report?
Later.
Yes. Later this afternoon.
There will be a report this afternoon.
Yes.
Perhaps there will be a report later.
We are doing everything possible to solve this problem.
Back to you in the newsroom.
Thank you, Don. We now have Dr. Grimes, known as the world's foremost authority on space science for NASA. Dr. Grimes, your entire staff, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to these things that are happening. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way. We don't know yet what complications might result from such injuries. In the cold room at the university, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its body. It was dead, but it opened its eyes and tried to move. The bodies must be disposed of immediately, preferably by cremation.
Well, how long after death then does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? Well, that doesn't give people time to make arrangements.
You're right, it doesn't give them time to make arrangements. The bodies must be carried out into the street and burned. They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service might give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
Thank you, Dr. Grimes. Ladies and gentlemen, There is no place to flee for safety, except for the rescue stations which have been set up. Indications are that before this emergency is over, we will need many, many more such rescue stations.
Oh, give me a sec, guys. Come on, piece of garbage.
How bad has your kid been hurt?
She's...
What's wrong with her?
One of those things grabbed her. Bit her on the arm. What's wrong?
Is she conscious?
Barely.
Look, why don't you go down there and you stay with the kid, all right? Willard. I saw a sign that said Willard.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around here?
Judy and I are from around here. We were on our way to the lake to go swimming. Judy had a radio on her, and so we heard the first reports about this. So we knew where the old house was, and we came in. Then these people showed up. So we all ran into the basement, put a bar across the top of the door, and it's pretty strong.
How could we possibly get away from here? This place is surrounded with those things. We have a sick child and 6 adults.
Yeah, but we have that truck. If we can get out of here and get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
Yeah, I know. That's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as the situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into flesh-eating ghouls. All persons who die during this crisis, from whatever cause, will come back to life to seek human victims, unless their bodies are first disposed of by cremation. Our news cameras are on the ground covering a search and destroy operation against the ghouls. This one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So let's go over to them. Over to you, Don.
Hey, Cass, put that one all the way in the fire. You don't need to get it up again.
Sheriff McClellan, how's everything going?
It's not going too bad, ma'am. They're taking it pretty good. You don't want to get on the other side of the road.
Sheriff, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed 19 of them today, right in this area. The last ones we caught were trying to get into an abandoned shed of all things. They must have thought something was in there. There wasn't, though. So they were just making all kinds of noise, and we just blasted them down. No problem.
Sheriff, if I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, that's no problem. You get yourself a gun, you shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. But if you don't have a gun, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat them or burn them, they go up easy.
Well, Sheriff, how long do you think it'll be before you have the situation under control?
Well, that's hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are, but we know when we find them, we can kill them.
Are they slow-moving, Sheriff?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you'd be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, that's hard to say. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're making our way toward Willard, and we're going to team up with the National Guard when we get there. And we'll be able to give you people a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Sheriff McClellan. This is Dawn Quinn, WIC-TV 11 News.
God! Get off me! Get off me!
Oh my
God, you freak! No!
We seem to have lost connection. Official spokesman declined to speculate just how long it may take to kill off all the flesh eaters. So long as... What?!
We've heard all we need to know. We gotta get out of here.
The rescue stations will have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get there, they could help Karen.
How are we gonna bust out of here? There's a million of those things outside. I think we ought to stay right here and wait for a rescue party.
Judy! I need you to find some bedspreads or some sheets. Something we can tear into small strips, okay?
I'll see what I can find.
We need bottles, jars. We can make Molotov cocktails to hold them off while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there. I'll look for bottles.
There's a big key ring down there, too. There may be a key to the gas pump on it.
I'll check.
We can toss the cocktails from a window upstairs. Before we leave, we can put some supplies behind the cellar door, and while we're gone, the rest of you can hole up in there.
That's gonna leave a door open someplace.
Yeah, I know, and it better be the front door. It's the closest to the truck. We'll just have to put whatever supplies we have behind the door, and then you guys can hole up in there.
I found some fruit jars down there, and there's a key here labeled for the gas pump out back.
I'm not really used to that truck. I found it abandoned.
I can nail that truck, no sweat.
You're it then. You and I will go. We'll put whatever lumber we can find behind the cellar door. Harry, you can go upstairs and toss the cocktails from a window. Tom, you and I will have to unboard the front door. Harry, when you're done tossing the cocktails, you hustle back down and you lock the front door. There's no good boarding it up because we'll have to get back in quickly. After we get the gas and get back to the house, then we'll worry about getting everybody into the truck. Now let's move it.
I want the gun, then. It's the best thing for me to use. You're not gonna have time to stop and aim.
I'm keeping the gun. Nobody lays a hand on it. I found it, and it's mine.
You don't care what happens to us. How do the rest of us know that you and Tom won't just take the truck and cut out?
That's a chance you'll have to take. If we cut out, then you'll have your damn basement like you've been crying about all along.
We are going to die here if we don't all work together.
How many do you have done, hey? Come on, I gotta go help Ben with the truck.
Tom, are you sure about the phone, Tom?
Phone's dead out. All you're getting is a record message.
Only I could call the folks. They're gonna be so worried about us.
Everything will be alright. We'll call them as soon as we get into Willard. They might even be there.
I know. Tom, are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, television said it was the right thing to do. We have to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, now you're starting to sound like Cooper.
But why do you have to go out there?
I know how to handle the pump, and I can handle the truck. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
But we're safe in here.
For how long, honey? We're safe now, but there's gonna be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
Listen, remember when we had the big flood? Remember how hard it was for us to convince you that it was right to leave? Remember? Remember we had to go to Willard then? This isn't a passing thing, honey. It's not like the wind just passing through. We have to do something and fast.
I just don't want you going out there, that's all.
We've got work to do, honey.
We better get them downstairs.
Right. You do have to go downstairs, but just for a while. Just until we get back. And then we can all leave.
Oh, I'd like to leave. Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I unboard the door.
I go upstairs.
You ready upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, toss them.
I throw the cocktails. The first fiery blaze lights in the yard. I throw a few more, some aimed for the creatures themselves. One or two catch fire. The rest start to back away slowly. The entire field is lit up. That's all, Ben! Run for it!
I'm going with him!
No, come on, get back in the cellar!
I'm going!
Get back in the cellar now! Judy, and Ben burst into the yard. They are armed with torches and with a gun. They leap into the truck. Tom plunges a torch into the chest of an attacker who immediately catches fire and goes down in a blaze, clutching the torch. The truck starts up and careens in a U-turn for the old shed. Attackers fall away as it starts out. Ben aims, fires several shots, most miss as the truck jumps towards the gas pump near the old shed. But one creature does go down in front of the gas pump. Tom and Ben leap out. Attackers are starting to make their way to them from across the yard. Tom fumbles with the key to the locked pump. Ben shoves him back, hurriedly aims the gun. The gun fires, blowing the lock to pieces, and gas spurts all over the place. Creatures advance. Gas still spurting, Tom crams the nozzle into the back of the tank in the truck. Ben crouches and levels off with her weapon. An approaching attacker goes down. But more are coming on. Tom's torches inadvertently set fire to the doused truck. The flames begin to lick and spread. Attackers are gathering in force ever closer. Tom leaps into the truck and it skids and lurches across the yard. The flaming truck speeds away, being driven by Tom, Judy by his side. Several of the things are upon Ben. She thrashes and pounds them with torch and gun. Ben is overwhelmed. The truck, completely in flames, is speeding away from the house toward a small rise. The truck explodes violently. The noise shatters the night. Several fools are at the front door trying to make their way in. All is lost. I vault for the cellar.
I have slugged my way through the attackers to the house. Let me in. Let me in. Cooper! Cooper! I tried to kick the last attacker off the porch. The burning truck has set the entire field ablaze. The fires begin to destroy everything in sight. Driving the close toward the house. I palm my shoulder against the door. It crashes open. I catch Harry at the cellar door, but there's no time. I turn to reboard the door. I punch Harry in the face. I will drag you out there and feed you to those things. It's all over. It's just us. Tom and Judy are dead. 10 minutes to 3. There'll be another broadcast in 10 minutes.
Oh my God! Oh, I think I saw one over here. Look, go get it! Go get it!
Don't! Look out there! It's locked in the cellar.
I don't know. It isn't the fuse. The power lines are down. Helen, I have got to get that gun.
I'm not going to help you. Haven't you had enough?
What? 2 people are dead already on account of that woman. Take a look out that window. Look at...
Get over here! Come on! Hey, Harry, put the gun down!
Go ahead! You want to stay up here now? Helen, get in the cellar! Get in the cellar now! Move!
Karen! Save me! I reached the bottom of the cellar stairs. Look up. My daughter is sitting, propped up on her elbows on the workbench table. I start for her, but stop. There is something strange. Her face turns slowly toward me. She's dead. She begins to rise slowly. The coat that was her blanket falls away and her eyes stare through me and beyond me. I begin to back away. Across the cellar, my child creeps toward me. I move a large packing crate, trying to block her path, trying to save the confrontation, but I'm too late! She's back!
What are you up to? We've got to keep those things out!
Now we'll see who's gonna shoot who. I'm gonna go back down in the cellars, and you can run up here, you crazy! No!
We'll never get out of here alive! None of us! Oh, no. Johnny! Johnny, no, please! Johnny, no! I hear feet pounding against the barricaded cellar door. But it's holding. The creatures can't get in.
Hey, Gwen, you want to grab 4 or 5 people? There's a house over here behind these trees we want to check out. You still here?
Yeah, Chief. We're gonna stay with it till we meet up with the National Guard.
Where'd you get that?
One of the volunteers. You're doing all the work. Take it.
No, thanks. We're about wrapped up here. About 3 or 4 more hours, we'll probably get into Willard's End. I guess you can go over there and meet up with the National Guard.
Everything appears to be under control.
Well, somebody sure ought to cook out here.
Yeah, sure looks like it, Chief. Ugh.
Stacy, Mercedes, Juan, let's go!
I reached the cellar door. The house is pulled apart. The ghouls are burned and dead. Something about them. I reached the front door. and heavy rain clouds fill the sky. The first raindrops fall on my cheeks. I step from the ashes